Welcome to our next episode of
Fandom
Family
Chats.
This is a production of Family Fan Clubs on Facebook. You can find us all over Facebook. You can find us all over social media under Fandom Family Chats. Look us up, get dialed in, get plugged in, and get ready to listen to some crazy people talk crazy stuff.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fandom Family Chats. I'm Jeanette.
And I'm Amanda.
Tonight we're talking all things One Chicago. Episodes. What episodes are these?
4
Four. All our
already.
shows where they've started like different weeks. I'm really confused on what week we're on.
I know.
These are 4. Okay. But first, Med. And last week the preview, what it was showing us was, Crockett doing some kind of field work, and finally, like, we were all trying to figure out what exactly he was doing. So we got to see that this week, which I loved this part of this episode.
I did too. I always like when they go out,
Mm-hmm.
like Med has some action.
Yeah.
Like out of the hospital. You don't get to see
Yeah.
that very often. And
If only they had
liked
done
it.
that the week me and Maureen. That's what I was hoping for. I was like, why, when we're there, can't we have Med in the field? But of course not. Not that week.
What was Crockett doing? I can't remember. I'm trying to think now. I just watched this today to refresh to remind myself, but
Well, he was going to see, like, they had
Blake.
was it Archer? Yeah, Archer had told her that Blake
Yeah.
was leaving to go to Boston, I think.
Yeah.
And he was I guess trying to catch her, and came upon this new hyper train thing that they have.
Yeah, and it jumped the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Can that really happen?
No, I mean, remind me to never ride a subway then, because that scares me.
So yeah, the subway, not the subway, the new hyper train jumps its tracks, and of course, Dr. Crockett is there.
Of course. To the rescue.
Right?
Yep.
Yay! I love seeing him in action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we do see Will out there, and we see like Ethan out in the field. I don't really see. Is this our first time ever seeing Crockett out in the field?
I think so.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could be on that team with Conrad and Cade.
Yeah. Or he could just take Kate's place. I mean, works for me.
Oh, not giving up yet.
I have a question. Okay. So they kept saying, like, the name, like I even put it in the notes, Jack Dayton. Are we supposed to know who that is? Like, they kept saying it like it was someone like was he in a previous episode? Is he, like, I don't know. Like, it felt so like we were supposed to know him. But maybe I was just reading into that too much.
I don't know. I maybe we're gonna see more of him.
Okay.
I mean, because I feel like if he was like just a one time only, like they wouldn't have made this whole article.
Yeah, because they just made this whole, like, I don't know. It felt like we were supposed to know him. Like, Sharon kept saying Jack Dayton, and, like, I don't know. So maybe we are going to know him, and that's why they kind of did it that way.
He's apparently from Grimm.
Okay.
He's like big on Grimm. So I guess it's kind of like a known actor. So maybe.
Okay, maybe
this is our new guy.
Yeah.
Did it say what he did? He's just he's a billionaire.
Yeah, I think so, because I think he was just sort of like funding this new hyper train, correct? I think. I don't know.
Okay. Was he the conductor guy?
He was not. The other guy. The other guy with them.
The other guy was the conductor guy, the one that was like down.
Yes.
Jack Dayton was the one who was helping.
I think he was like kind of the one that sort of created the hyper train, and they were just, I guess, testing it because it didn't seem like there were other passengers at that point.
Yeah. Nathaniel, that was the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Nathaniel, and he was
in bad shape.
He was in some pretty bad shape. Yeah. I'm surprised he made it out of there, because with that collapsed lung, with all that stuff around and not getting enough, oh my gosh, couldn't have been stuck in there with anybody else, anybody better.
Right. I mean, he wouldn't have survived if it hadn't been for Crockett in there. Like, there's no way. The stuff that man, I mean, did in the field, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is a lot.
It is impressive. I mean, I was all here for it, and we got to see a little bit of our fire guys.
Yes,
not too much, but a little bit. I love it when they just sneak in for a scene or two.
Yep.
I think
I
we
agree. When
we
Kelly
got
showed up, I was
Kelly,
like,
yeah.
yes, yes.
I know. I was like, yay!
And then Herman, I was like, oh, good.
When I saw his little face pop, I was like, oh yay, Herman's there. They're all fine.
Yep.
We're all good.
With those bags that Herman was trying to send through there, I was like, oh no, one of them got stuck. And I was like, this is like, and I feel like everything that could go wrong during this like rescue continued to go wrong. It was the bag got stuck. They pulled on it. Everything collapsed. Crockett's arm is like lodged. Oh my God. I was just stressed as can be
Ooh,
during this
I was like,
scene.
oh god, oh gosh.
And then he was like, get behind me and you have to dislodge my shoulder. What?
I feel like Jack Dayton was a little bit too just like agreeing to
I
this.
was like, okay.
I think you would have had to talk me into it a little bit more.
The thing is, though, I think when Dr. Marcel tells you to do something, you just do it. I feel like he just has that personality that you just trust him, that he knows what's going on, and he's
Yeah.
you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. He was tough on that one. That one made me cringe. I actually looked away. I didn't watch him actually
Yeah.
push it out. I was like, nope.
And then afterwards, he like just gets him, he like tells him what to do to pop it back in, and then just continues on doing all of this stuff to the Nathaniel. I was like,
Yeah. That was some I mean,
listen,
there's of course adrenaline running and
yeah,
stuff like that in those situations where I mean, this stuff really does happen in real life. People do
it was a
some
lot.
very heroic things.
Mhm.
So I loved it.
Yeah.
This was really cool. But he had like the chest tube. That was also impressive doing in the field.
Like
I was like,
one-handed kind of too. Like, oh my
yeah,
gosh, man.
yeah.
Because he had his other hand just in a sling, you know?
I was so excited to see Herman
Mhm.
there.
Yeah, when his little face popped up there at the top, I was like, oh thank God. Get
Yeah.
him out of there.
I feel like we just like knew it was all okay then. Like, whew,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank goodness. And then after that he goes and sees Pamela.
Yeah, he tries to go see Pamela and didn't even go to the hospital.
Like, really?
Yep. And she wasn't even there. So like he
I
did all that and
know.
she wasn't there. Avery was there.
I'm sorry. Let them go. I
Yeah,
didn't
I'm
like
over it.
Blake or Avery. I didn't like either of them.
I liked it for like a tiny moment, but I'm okay
Too.
with it
Maybe
being
like
gone.
one or two episodes, and then
Yeah.
after this stuff, no,
I'm not sad about it at all. Like I think he can do better.
absolutely,
I mean, he's a catch. Like he can do better for sure.
yes. So I didn't like him admitting that he was felt selfish during this. I really did not like this interaction.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
I
him
mean,
making himself feel better or getting the truth out there because I'm sure he did.
well, and I think it was I think he was and I think we've said this when we talked about it, I think he was selfish when he did it. But at the same time, like that's who he is. And not that he's selfish, but like he obviously loved her. And
Yeah,
so she should have known that he was going to make a decision that kept her like that was like going to keep her alive. He wasn't worried
yeah.
about her career at that point. And maybe he should have been. I think he's admitting maybe I should have thought about this like she would have thought about it. But this is why like I mean, obviously if you put a loved one, like someone who loves you in charge of this, they're going to think differently because emotions and feelings are involved. And I think that's okay. I mean, he
I
made the
know.
best decision he could at the moment.
I want the doctors to make my decisions.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. I think if I had to put anybody in charge of that, I'd probably put my cousin. She's at least a nurse. She's an RN. She would know.
yeah. Well, sometimes I think it's better to take someone like that's not so closely like emotionally involved with you because I think a selfish like
Yeah.
action can take over because I mean you love this person. You need
Yep.
someone who's going to think completely rationally and kind of take emotions out of it.
I agree with that.
So, but he was smiling when he walked away. So I think he needed that to like just sort of
Yeah.
move on and come to terms with like what happened. I don't think he's like necessarily upset with himself. He did it. it is what it is. Like that's how he is.
And she's gone.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
But he was out there doing all his stuff. This intern of his, on the other hand,
Oh, God.
was working with Ethan.
I do not care for Kai at all. Like he drives me nuts.
He does me too.
And in this episode, I mean, he was just sort of, I don't know, he got on my nerves just as much on this one too.
Yeah.
They had what, like a painter that like fell off the roof and they had to bring him in.
Yeah.
And then what they need, I can't remember what the equipment was that they needed, but he was all
It was to do the chest tube.
Okay. Yeah, that's what it was, because that's how they had to, but he was, like, oh, you should have let him take that out in the field. I mean, he's saving someone's life, Kai. Like,
yeah, it's not like it's going to waste.
He didn't just take it like for fun and like, have this with me just in case. No, like he drives me nuts. But it gave Ethan and Archer, which this was so cool. Like they made like a DIY like drainage tube for this. And I was like, that's pretty cool.
I liked them getting along in this episode. I know they don't. Ethan doesn't really fight with him that much because they've known each other for so long, but anytime I can see Archer being friendly with somebody, it's like I like to soak it in because he makes me so mad on every other part that I need those little good things sometimes.
I told Eve this on the last recording that you were not on. I think I'm an Archer fan, and I don't know when that happened. But I think I officially actually enjoy him. And I don't know if it's that I've gotten used to who he is.
Yeah.
Or if they're really just trying to like turn him around to make him more likable, which I'm excited about because like I told her, like, I love this actor. I've loved this actor since the 90s. So like I've really wanted to be a fan. And I think I am now. So
I'm not there yet. But I did enjoy him this episode. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I did enjoy his character in this episode.
Yeah.
So, but this Kai, I don't know, man, he's handsome. Like
he is.
But the attitude on him is, like I tell my kids, it's making you ugly.
It's true. It's true.
It's not looking good on you. Just because you're cute on the outside, if you're acting ugly, it's going to make you seem ugly.
Absolutely. And I'm hoping, because I mean, he bragged about how like Archer must have been a really good teacher for Ethan. And I like how Ethan reminded him that like Crockett's a good teacher too. And so hopefully this will be like a turning point that he can like just stop and maybe listen to what what Crockett does have to like teach you. And maybe I don't like disliking our medical staff. Like it's cool when we have like a clear villain that we can hate, but like the people we're working with, I don't like it when they're unlikable. I
don't either
to enjoy all of them. So I'm hoping we can find a way to make him turn around as well. But he's got a lot of work to do, I think, to get me there.
I think he will get there. Yeah. I have a good feeling about it. I don't hate him yet. Not there. Yeah. He needs some mentoring and he needs a little bit more class before I can totally be on board on the Kai train.
Agreed.
But I'm giving him a chance.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. He's hopefully, I mean, maybe he's going to be replacing Ethan's character.
Maybe. I'm really a little bummed. I didn't think I would be bummed about the news that Brian T was leaving, but
I am, only because of the April storyline.
Yeah, because I mean, like him coming back, that's what I think I said this on the last episode too. Like April came back, and all of a sudden, like even though she's not on screen, Ethan's likable again. And so I was really excited that like we were like getting back to like, because in the early seasons, I loved Ethan.
Yeah, I did too.
Like, I mean, he was up there with Will, because I mean, maybe not, obviously not above Will, because no one is above Will in my eyes, but he was really close. And like, but then he just got to like, I just didn't even I was happy when he left for a while. Like I wanted him off my screen completely. Yeah. But now like I'm starting to see like the old Ethan back, and now I find out he's leaving. I'm like, well, that bums me out.
Maybe he's going back to the army with Jay.
He was in the Navy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Maybe he's going back to the military there.
Maybe. Or maybe him, like, but the thing is, I don't want April back if you're taking him away. Like, I wanted
Maybe
them
he's
back
gonna
together.
maybe she's not coming back. Maybe he's gonna go be with her somewhere. Maybe
And
she's gonna offer him a job where she is or something.
I do think I could get on board with that, because if I know that there's
Yeah.
like one happy ending in Chicago Med, because Chicago Med is the worst for giving us happy endings, like worse than any
Yeah.
of the other like Chicago shows. So if we could know that, maybe I can be cool with it,
No, I agree with it. I agree.
Yeah. But I don't know, bringing it back to Archer just a little bit, like we see like his relationship with Ethan's really good. He's a great teacher. He always has been for him. But man, like he was giving Hannah such a hard time this week.
Yep.
And that I did not enjoy at all.
No, I didn't either. I thought it was a little bit too much.
Mm-hmm.
There was no him just, I mean, she knows she has to do a drug test every week.
Yeah.
But he just has to like make it a point
Yeah.
to say something, to remind her of it out loud in front of everybody. Just like you don't have to do that. There's classier ways to handle that kind of situation.
And this thought literally just popped in my head. I wonder if the reason he's been so hard on her, like harder on her than anyone else in the hospital has, is now that we know his history with his son.
Probably.
Because his son had an issue with drugs. And I wonder if it's, I don't know, like in a loving, sort of way of like trying to care for her and make sure she stays on track. Like that literally just popped in my head.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like it explains a lot,
It does. Maybe that's why they were introducing us more to his son and his problems, and
maybe
to kind of give us the backstory on why he is going to be the way he is with Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, because that, remember, I think we even said it on the podcast, it's kind of weird. It was kind of a weird, why did we see his son? Why did we go through the storyline? Maybe that's it.
Maybe. And I'm hoping too, like that his son is going to, I mean, maybe he's going to get that lawyer for him, and he's going to get out, because I think I would like to see a little more personal life for Archer, because I think that's the way we can make us like him even more, is getting to see sort of why is he grumpy and why is he this way, and if we can understand it, we can excuse some of it a little more.
Yeah, I agree. But Hannah this week, her patient was,
oh my gosh,
that was a little bit of a wild ride.
Yes.
She came in just for back pain, and I'm like, she's so pregnant. I'm like, oh honey,
every pain comes along with it, especially when you're like kind of late in your pregnancy, like.
Yeah. Well, when she was explaining it too, I was like, wow, the nerve. Oh my god, sciatic,
yeah.
Ooh, it took me a minute. The sciatic nerve. I had such a bad pain during my pregnancy with those. So that's the first thing I thought of. I was like,
yeah,
it can't just be that. It's gonna have to be something else. And she thought it was her appendix, which I did not agree with.
I mean, right, way to go, Hannah, that you can figure this out. Like, I mean,
I did not think that was going to be the correct answer. I really didn't. I was like, no, I don't think it's just this simple thing as an appendix. Like it's going to be something more. Nope.
Well, that's what, and Archers kept pushing back, because, which, I mean, I get they don't have the dye, which I want to just point out real quick that this shortage
thing is
probably like, I really don't like this storyline. Like I'm over it already, but
yeah,
I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. But yes, I mean, he kept making her try all these other things first. I mean, they even did an ultrasound because he was convinced it was a kidney stone, and lo and behold, no, none of that.
The appendix.
It was her appendix.
I mean, really, after she started throwing up, and it had went way past anything else. That was, you could tell the amount of pain she was in. I felt was a great actress, but I felt so bad for her character, man.
Yeah, for sure.
was just like sympathizing as with pregnancies. I'm like, man, you're already uncomfortable and you already don't feel good all the time. And then you have your appendix on top of it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine that pain and oh
yeah.
poor
And then to be
girl.
told also, I mean, people not even knowing what it is because they're like, oh, back pain, like you're pregnant, like,
Exactly.
you
Just
know,
like I did when she went in. I was like, oh yeah, I went on back pain.
it happens, you know?
I
Yeah.
still have back pain. What are you talking
Same.
about?
Same.
It never went away.
Yep. Yep.
But I mean, he at least he realized he was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We got there. He
Yeah.
got there eventually. And
Yeah.
she officially doesn't have to do any more drug tests.
So happy for that. Like, I mean, she's
I'm
done her
happy and
time with this.
scared.
Well, you know, I mean, I think they'll all be watching. I really think she's in a good place. I don't think she's going to relapse in any way. I think it would take something major happening to even have her think about that.
I think so. I think we would
I think
be
she's
able to
good.
see if
Mhm.
something it would have to be something major that happens into her life that
Yeah.
I feel like at this time would push her back into it.
Yeah. I think we're good there.
But we had more supply issues as
Mhm.
well between Will and Vanessa's patient. I'm with you on this. I am very I'm very over this storyline. I'm
Let me
so
tell you.
over it. Like
And what
we can do something else.
Mhm. Well, one of the reasons I'm over it is because I know where this is headed. Okay. I mean, who will be the biggest rebel in the middle of this wild, wild west stuff happening? It's my boy Will Hosted. And he's going to get
Yeah.
himself in trouble. And I don't like it. I'm like, I don't want him to get in trouble. But I agree with like everything that's going on. I mean, this was another case that was just absolutely ridiculous, just like last week.
Yeah, it
I mean, you've got
was.
a patient,
Go
I
ahead.
mean, diabetic patient, UTI. And I mean, these are like, these things can be, I mean, these UTIs can be really dangerous for anyone, but especially someone who's
Yes.
diabetic.
Yep.
And I mean, the medicine they need, they can't get. Like, how is this possible that like you need a medication for your patient and it's not available anywhere?
It's getting really ridiculous to me. Like I want to know. Obviously, I'm not in the medical field. I
Yeah,
don't know how bad this is right now. Like, is this so bad where I mean, is it really this bad? Or are
I
they
bet
like
it is.
exaggerating it? Like I honestly want to know. Like,
Yeah. I
because
mean, I
like when I
wonder.
watch the news and everything, I don't hear anything about a shortage of
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals or medical supplies.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not hearing anything about it. So
I know. I want to
is it
know
a
too.
thing?
I mean, I would think that I mean, because Chicago Med is usually pretty on point with like their storylines, and just one Chicago in general with their storylines being things that are actual issues out there.
Well, yeah, and the
So,
resident is doing the same thing.
mhm,
So that's what keeps making me believe that, this is a
yeah,
real thing, but also their shows. So are they
I know.
dramatizing it or is it really this bad?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean,
Write
I want to
write
know too.
in. Let us know.
Please, because I mean, I'm curious too, like
Yeah.
because I mean, this one's like huge, and I mean, this one, I think he talked to Sharon, and
Yep.
one of the biggest issues was there was some sort of like FDA like citation against the product,
Yeah.
and so you just quit making it then? Like, how do you do that without having like another product, another medication that can take its place? Like, this is wild to me.
It is. I
Yeah.
don't understand it all, but it's it's pushing Vanessa a little bit of a wrong way, and I didn't
Mhm.
really like it.
Yeah.
I was proud of Will. I actually I usually never say anything good about Will. You know this.
Come on,
I
let's hear
was
it.
very impressed with him this week.
Yes.
He didn't just shove it down her throat. He
He's
handed it to the husband
matured.
and he was, you know, I didn't see anything. He was very against it. He told
Mhm.
Vanessa not to do it,
Mhm.
you know, and I feel like in the past he would have jumped faster at that opportunity than
Yeah.
he did today.
Yeah, I think he's definitely matured in these ways, but I also think he's going to be the biggest fighter against what's happening right now because I think he's absolutely fed up with it already.
Between him and Vanessa, I don't know who's more fed up with it.
Yeah.
She was
Well, I mean,
hot-headed.
obviously super dangerous the way that she got it. I mean, she could lose her medical license. Will could too, even though he said no, really. I mean,
Yeah.
since he knew about it. But I mean, what was she gonna do? I mean, like it
she
would
was
have
getting so
hurt.
much worse. I mean, what she was
Yeah.
gonna die or
Yeah, I mean, like your patient is not gonna make it if you don't. And so what do you do in those cases? I feel like, I mean, as a doctor, your job is to help them. So
I think
I'm not mad at them for this at all.
the whole scary thing about it though is if they're I mean, I think she said like she traced back to they knew where the drugs came from and
Mhm.
everything, but that would be the only thing that would scare me is how do
Yeah.
you know, are they legit? Are they
Mhm.
actually these pills? How do you know
Right.
where were they made?
Right.
Like they're not coming from a pharmacy, so they're
Right.
not regulated. I don't we
But she
have
seems
no
like
idea. But
she
she
did her
seemed
due
pretty
diligence on that and
yeah.
she checked, it was just filled what she say 12 days ago or something like that. So I think it's okay, but I mean, still kind of a mess.
Yeah.
Sure. The other storyline this season that we've seen over and over again already that I think is finally coming to a close is poor Dr. Charles and his hunt for a new therapist.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think he might have found someone now, thankfully.
I really like this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. I knew he was going to pass out, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I was like, why as him as a doctor and Dr. Charles, why wasn't he sitting down?
Yes.
He stood up and just went. I was like, holy moly,
Yeah.
sit down.
As soon as he did, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, we just found a good one. Is he having a heart attack? I was like, come on. Come on.
Poor Dr. Charles killed one now.
Like, he can't win. He can't win.
No, I feel so bad for this guy. He
Mhm.
was, but to kind of backtrack a little bit, I almost forgot about Dr. Charles's daughter.
I know, I did too for a second. And even when he said it, I was like, I'm like, oh, not Robin, the other one.
I know it
remember
did
the
make me
name.
think about Robin though. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Robin.
I miss Robin.
I do too. But no, it was I think he's talking about obviously he's talking about the younger daughter, which her name is totally slipping from me right now. But
Cannot remember.
I mean she was in it for a little while. She got
I
pregnant.
liked her too. I just don't remember because it's been a while.
Annabelle?
Anna. So you were close.
Ah,
very good.
Yay. I can like almost like hear him say it. It's the only way I was trying to think. I was trying to think of his voice saying her name.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So he was talking about Anna though at the beginning. And now he's poor Dr. Charles is so stressed with raising this teenager at his age. Man.
On his own. Yeah. Because her mom's off in somewhere else. I don't remember where she went, but yeah.
No, I completely I thought she went to go live with her mom. But then he's talking about her here, so I don't know. Is she visiting or did she
No, I don't
did she end up staying with him?
I think she ended up staying with him because she didn't want to go live with her mom.
I don't know why I remember that story. I thought I don't know. I was thinking she went at a later time, but I could be completely wrong.
Well, I could definitely be wrong.
Lots of shows.
I could be wrong on that one too.
We find out it wasn't. I thought it was a heart attack. I completely did.
Yes,
but it was a panic attack, which is often.
It feels like a heart attack, apparently. So I mean,
yeah.
That's what you think is happening. Yeah,
I've had my fair share, and it
is
very scary. So that was a serious one. Never broken a table.
Oh man,
I feel like that hurt him more than a panic attack.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's panicked because of this disorder he thinks he has. I'm like, man, this psychiatrist needs a psychiatrist.
That's what I thought too.
He needs Dr. Charles.
They need to just back and forth, like just work on things together. Group therapy is what they need.
I don't know why is that a bad thing to do?
I think it would actually be good. I mean, like, why not?
I mean, confidential. I mean, they can be confident with each other. I mean,
and they're both licensed professionals, so go for it.
I don't know. He needs to, but I like that. Dr. Charles was able to talk him into it and came back all negative, and
Yeah,
then
he's good.
maybe all these panic attacks will stop and he can. But I was thinking he was telling Dr. Charles, like, I'm not going to see you anymore. Like, but I like that Dr. Charles did not take that.
He was like, no, come on, man. It has taken me so long to find you. Like, I can't let you go. Like,
He's like, no, you're not
which
going
I was thinking
anywhere.
the same thing. I was like, no, 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 no. Like, please, you've got to help him. He needs somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Poor Dr. Charles. He's going to lose it here soon.
Absolutely. It all worked out.
It did. It did, and I'm happy. I'm hoping this is the final answer for Dr. Charles in his long 4-episode search.
I hope so. Poor guy's been through it.
I still think my favorite one is when he panned back over and the chair's just
he was
empty.
gone. Yeah. Yeah. But
next week the preview looks pretty good.
Yes.
It
looks kind of one of those like episodes that like you're really scared watching, like something really terrible is going to happen. Hopefully it won't.
I know. Dr. Archer seems like he's in some distress.
But yeah, I think did the guy I feel like the guy hit him with like something like an oxygen tank or something is what it looked like.
Was it green?
It was something big.
I think it was. I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember in my brain, trying to watch it in my head right now.
But then I got stressed because we also saw that like Ethan kind of comes to his rescue.
Of course.
I haven't read up on this. Do we know when Ethan's last episode is?
It says mid-season. I don't know.
Okay, so.
But they also said mid-season for J2, and he's
I got nervous because I was like, please tell me like we won't kill Ethan, right? Like,
I
hope not. I mean, look, I can't. I mean, we lost Hawkins last week. I can't do another one. So like we need him to ride off in the sunset with April and nothing. So.
I agree.
We'll see. Hopefully everybody's good, but hopefully it looks like it's gonna be an action-packed episode. So that's exciting.
Yay! All right. Well, I think that's it for Med. We can. What did we say? We can jump into fire.
There you go.
And we can welcome Maureen.
Hello.
There she is. I said jump into fire again.
I heard you.
All right. So fire last week, broke all of our hearts. This week, we get to see Violet and how she is dealing with his death. This episode really broke my heart when it came to Violet.
Yeah.
I thought it was good when she was like getting up and she was looking out the window. I was like, ooh. And then she went back down. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
She looked like she was in pain. Like, just broke my heart.
I will say I cried. I mean, obviously in the last episode, we only got him at the end that he died.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a lot of, I cried though. I cried way more in this episode.
Yeah.
Like when she went to go visit that patient that he saved. Every time she was in there was, oh my gosh.
It was so, I don't know.
Heartbreaking.
Violet was me the day after I watched last week's episode.
I thought you were bringing it back
Jeanette
to
hasn't talked about this on air yet.
No, it is no longer DeLuca that broke me. It is Hawkins. And look, I've analyzed this in my head because I wasn't on here last week to talk about this, so you guys have to hear some more about it.
All right.
Like thinking like on Grey's, okay, there were so many sad deaths. Derek, Lexi, Mark, all of those. None of those broke me. DeLuca came along, and it did. That was the first death that was current with me and not spoiled for me ahead of time.
Yeah.
This is the same thing with Chicago Fire. Like I was sad with Al. I was super sad. I was super sad with Otis. Hawkins broke me more because it was the first death that I did not know was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so it's like the shock value, I think. It's like I have to mentally prepare myself for this.
I suppose they weren't giving this away for anything because it was a current thing. It's not like
No,
it
they didn't give it
happened.
away even a little bit because he even like the day before was like, "Oh, here's our pictures from mine and Violet's."
Which did you notice appeared in this episode?
Yeah, I did. I was like, "All right, Jimmy Nichols, you're hilarious and all, but that was mean. It was mean because I was excited. I was like, oh yay, their date. I can't wait to see it. I think I even commented on his stuff like, well, this was mean. It's completely uncalled
Rude.
for. Completely uncalled for.
But he still lived on in this episode.
I mean,
And I think when Gabriel, when he woke up and she was in there, well, first of all, when she first said, if he doesn't live, he died for nothing. And that was just the way she said that was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I became and we did say last week, the other guy was fine because Gabriel actually walked off scene. Well, no, he was carried off scene, but he was talking. He was awake at the end of that last episode.
It's because
So
Evan covered him.
I know, but I thought he was fine because of that. He was not fine. He went into a coma.
Yeah.
And apparently they said he never woke up, but he was talking at the end of that last episode. So I thought he was fine. So I became very invested in whether or not Gabriel lived or died.
Yeah.
And that was good writing because I'm not usually invested in new characters, but I was very invested in whether or not he lived or died because of Evan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if Gabriel died, then Evan died for
nothing.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then when he woke up and she was, oh my gosh, I started crying again. When she looked at him and she was like, can I tell you about him?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And he was like, yes. And she couldn't even finish it. And he reached over and he just grabbed her hand, like, oh. I cried so much last episode, and it was all Violet and Gabriel, all of it. It was so hard to watch.
She was so good this episode. I mean, just I don't know.
Yeah. And
the fact that felt it.
The fact that she only showed up to Gabriel after visiting hours were over, so she wouldn't have to see anybody. And then that talk she had with Severide.
Yeah.
When he was like, 51 is the only thing that saved me. And she's trying to avoid anything that will remind her of Evan. But when you're going through grief like that, that makes it worse because everything will remind you of them.
Yep.
And if you're trying to shove it out, you're not going to be able to. So it's just going to make it more painful. But if you're trying to let him in and let him live a little bit through you or live in your memories, it's easier to heal from that.
Yeah.
And so I was really, that talk that I actually forgot about Anna. I'm still struggling to remember what Anna looked like, if I'm being honest.
She had like dark hair and
remind me who she was.
She was like that patient that somehow he met her. She was
the cancer patient.
Yes.
And he was giving her bone marrow.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
I had forgot about her for a second because I thought he was going to talk to her about Shay, but she would already know who Shay is, even though she didn't meet her. I'm sure she's heard people talk about Shay.
Yeah.
So it made more sense that he was wanting to tell her about Anna.
I feel like, I don't know. I was kind of the same thing with you, Marina. I was kind of forgot about Anna. I thought he was going to go in there fully with just Shay. So I was like, that almost broke him. It wasn't a romantic relationship, but that was his best friend. And, somebody he worked with. And I mean, having to go back to 51 every day or every shift and, remembering every single place they were. And yeah, that is going to be hard, but I loved how he put it and was like, yeah, but that's where your people are. That's how you will heal, is being surrounded by your people. That was just, of course, it made Kelly just swoon worthy. I mean, if he could get any more.
And he was probably the best person to talk to her because he had Anna, who was a romantic relationship, and Shay, who worked at 51.
Yeah.
So you combine them both. I mean, they both destroyed him, but then he was so perfect to be able to talk to her about that because that was her fear that Evan worked there. How do you escape that? But I remember when they were all talking about, have you heard from Violet? And they're all in the, the kitchen area, the look on Severide's face as they're talking about it. And that's what I love about Severide is that I was listening to you talking about Ahmed and Jeanette went, yay, Severide's here. That's interesting.
No, I don't dislike Severide. He's just not my favorite, but I still enjoy him.
Well, that's what I like about it, because he didn't make a big deal about it. He didn't tell anyone he was going there. And even Violet said, "Oh, I take it Stella's at the bar and she told you to come here in place of her." Like, no, this was me. This was all me. He didn't need to brag about it. He really cares about his people.
Yeah.
And I think that Violet, while I think she appreciated all the care packages and everything that people were sending her. I mean, Stella and Brett sent her boxes of wine. And that's great. And it's kind, and it shows that they're thinking about her. Everyone else sending her text messages. It's great. It's awesome. She needs that.
Yeah.
But she also needed someone to sort of mentor her through grief.
Yeah.
Because I don't think she ever really experienced this level of grief before.
Yeah.
So to have Seb right there, it was really, and I thought it was really good writing with the storyline this week, and the acting was top notch.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was really great.
Absolutely. It was.
And then when she showed up and Brett was like, "Yay, you're here," that you could, because she was hesitant to, and I thought that was a nice touch too, where she was hesitant to open her locker because what's in her locker is going to be pictures of Evan. It's going to be things that he's going to be in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then to have her surrounded, I'm getting emotional again. Jeez Louise. To have her surrounded by all the 51 family when they just hugged her like that.
Yeah.
And she,
Ritter and all them.
gosh.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I loved that little,
Mhm.
it was a little short moment, but it was such a good,
It was so
such a good moment.
necessary.
It was good.
You know, we used to have like this group of people in Fire towards like the beginning of it.
Mhm.
And I feel like kind of like how Grey's Anatomy has done it. We're kind of getting our new group
Yeah.
of people, or the young people who are really making a connection in a group. And it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Agreed.
And she jumped right back in it, man. I mean, she didn't I think she kind of channeled Evan a little bit when she was on that call for the heart.
I got nervous.
Didn't let it stop her. She jumped right into it. She knew what had to be done. And I think the other reason Kelly was the best person to talk to her about it is because Kelly has to make these, as part of this as squad lieutenant, he has the really, really difficult calls. And it's mainly him who goes in to save the people and who has to make these choices and put everything else aside. So to give Violet that confidence to be able to be like, no, this is life right here.
Yeah.
I could sit in my house and I could sit in misery and pain and wither away, or I could be out here doing what I do best and what I know how to do and making life count here. And I think that's what she did.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I have to admit, I was really nervous. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like something big for your first call like that. I was like, in my head, I was thinking, please don't mess this up, because like, don't panic. Don't because I was afraid that, she might have a moment where she couldn't do what she needed to do, but man, she did. I mean, she jumped right in there. And so it was way to go.
Unsettling to watch.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
it's her job.
Yeah.
And I think it's second nature. I mean, really, to her by now, it's work. It's what you do.
One of the things we like about Violet is her quirk, because she can be so almost socially awkward. And doesn't really pick up on cues all the time. But I think working at 51 has kind of softened that her. But she still has that side where she can tap into, I'm going to be unemotional about this, and tap into what I know has to be done. And she did that in that moment.
I'm telling you, that call was insane.
Yes.
I've never
that woman
seen that. Oh,
and
yeah.
I didn't know it looked like a wire cage that she was cutting into. I didn't know it looked like that.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
That was crazy. I liked it though.
I like the contrast that they did in this episode of, we get the grief from Stella, or not from Stella, the grief from Violet and Severide coming in, but then you also get the tension of Stella and Carver. And I have to say, I'm no longer a Carver. I'm going down on the Carver train. At first, last episode, I was like, no, I think he could be good. I was not a fan of him this episode. I didn't like him.
I feel like he's too. He's not a team player. It's frustrating me. I haven't written him off yet.
Yeah, I haven't either. I don't know where the story's going with him. And like, it's usually I feel like I can usually see where a story's going. I'm not really sure where this is going and what the point of all of this tension between the two of them is. Like,
it's back and forth. Like
one episode, cool. Like, but then you sort it out and we're good. And I mean, and even it makes me like even Stella's interactions with him, and I may be the only one on this, her interactions with him make me upset with her as well. And I'm like, I don't want to be upset with her. I don't like this tension, because I feel like it makes me like look at her a different way too. Like I want the
Yeah.
tension over with. Like I just want to see her like guiding them in a good way. I don't want to see them butting heads and her having to like assert her authority because I don't know, I'm over it. Like I'm cool with that for one episode and now I'm ready for it to be done.
How does it
Like,
make you look at her negatively? Like this episode's issues with Stella and Carver. How did it make you look at her negatively?
yeah, I think it was too much to ask him to like literally clean every compartment and repaint them all. And even when he said, like, did you make Gallo? I mean, like, because Gallo obviously later comes in and offers, like, if you need help, I'll help you. But when he mentioned Gallo to her, she was adamant that no, he was going to do it all on his own. It just felt like I don't know. It felt like she was riding. I think she was riding him too hard. And I think he's bucking back at her too hard. And I just don't like their interactions together at all. I'm not sure what the purpose of any of it is.
Yeah, especially since when we first met Carver, we thought it was going to be a bad situation.
Mhm.
But then Stella kind of worked with him on something and he's like, oh no, she's great. And now they're back to fighting. So it's too back and forth. But I got the impression, and maybe I'm wrong on this, I thought that this was kind of like a new recruit thing that, this is what you do, because she said, by the time you're done, you're going to know where everything is and how it's organized. So I thought that this was something that all of them did at one point.
Well, and I totally I get her point there, but then if that's the case, if Gallo would have known that this is a new recruit thing that you do it on your own to learn it, why would he offer to help? So it seems like in the past, maybe like even if he did have to do this, it was okay for others to jump in and help him and whatever. But she was real weird about like, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't like it at all for some reason.
We've never seen anybody do it before.
Never seen anybody do
We've never
this.
seen a lot of things happen before.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they're, especially since it's not like he's a new firefighter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She just has it out for him.
I feel like she
I
is
didn't feel
riding
that way at
him
all.
too hard for him to not be a brand new firefighter. Because also, why would he know? I mean, granted, I'm sure every firehouse stocks their stuff a little different, but I'm sure it's somewhat the same because sometimes you have to have floaters and stuff. Like then you wouldn't know where anything is. So I'm sure there's like a process of
Yeah.
all of them stock somewhat the same. So why make him do this? He's been doing this for a long time. He knows where stuff is.
Has
Like,
he been doing it for a long time? Because he was a floater, wasn't he?
But I mean, he's been doing. That's what I'm saying. I would say that every firehouse, there might be some things that are different, but there would have to be a general knowledge of how you stock your truck. Otherwise, every floater would be totally confused on calls. And
Yeah.
so it just, I don't know. I don't like it. We're having to see her be this like hard ass like lieutenant, and I don't care for it.
I don't think she was bad this episode.
I
I
didn't
really
either.
don't. She bailed him out of jail, which she did not have to do.
Yeah.
She did not tell Bowden about it, which I feel like she should have. And I think that's going to come back and bite her in the
Here's the
behind.
thing, though. I don't think she should have because when she talked to Kelly
Mhm.
about it, he kind of laughed it off. So I think even he thinks she's stressing too much over this Carper situation.
But he is being a jerk. So I think that's why she's like, what do I do? He's calling on me when
Mhm.
I'm his lieutenant. He's calling on me outside of work to pull him out of these really bad situations. So he's
Yeah.
putting me in this position. And then we go to work and he's a jerk to me at work too. So what do I do here? So I
But the
think
thing-
I sided with her a lot on this episode.
But like Kelly,
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
the Kelly interaction is what kind of sealed. Like she is telling him everything. I feel like she's, admitting to like what's going on or whatever. And the fact that he kind of laughed it off, like I feel like if there was really an issue and he had heard his wife having an issue, it's if something that actually was a big deal, he wouldn't have laughed it off. So
I get what I get where you're coming from. I completely get it.
I think
But
it's
at
just
the
all
same
for drama's
time-
sake, and I'm just over it.
At the same
I am
time, though,
over
it frustrated me when she picked him up from jail, and then he's like, "Don't worry about me out of the firehouse." Well, I just had to because
Mhm.
you just called me. I
He's
just
bugging me
had to
too.
do it.
Yeah, I'm not like he's bugging me as well. They're both bothering me with the way they're interacting with each other, and I don't like it.
Yeah, if Carver's going to stick around, then we need to figure out some way to make him more likable.
And I think here's
Agree.
the reason I was okay with her, because I think I did think it was part of like not an initiation necessarily, but that not new and not necessarily just new recruits, but people new to the firehouse. I did think that was kind of the routine there, and maybe it wasn't, but there is clearly things that Carver holds against her. And there's clearly things that he kind of punishes her for, and thinks that she's like, even when he's looked at Gallo, he's like, how long has Stella and Carver been together? And even Gallo was like, listen, she got this on her own. She didn't get this because of Severide.
Yeah, I love that part.
And it was even that goes back to when he's like, oh, Dr. or Hill helped you. That's interesting. So he doesn't think she deserves to be his lieutenant, but yet he calls on her when he's in trouble. So I think Stella's picking up on that with him. And maybe this is having him do this with the truck. He's like, listen, I'm your lieutenant. This house is important. If this is what I have to do to get you to understand that this is something that is my position and I've earned it, then this is what I'm going to do to get you to respect me as your lieutenant. That's kind of how I took it. This is the first episode with Stella actually as lieutenant that I wasn't like, come on.
Yeah.
I was fully on her side of this episode for the first time in a long time. And I think that it's because she can pick up on, I want to call him a bad name, but I think she can pick up on that. He's filled with animosity when he's around her. It's weird though, because when he talks to Bowden, he's like, no, she's great. She's fantastic. But to Stella,
I know
animosity.
What is that?
But then there's also, like we talked about, like she went and picked him up like from drinking. That was after, she had him clean all those out the day before. So, she had already put this big task on him for what?
But it goes back to, he's always full of animosity when he's around her.
But not where we saw them end. Like prior to her cleaning all that out, there was no animosity. This was like last episode, they had a good episode. So then the first thing we see him
always
doing,
had to do this stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. He's not a rookie. He's a rookie to the house, but he is not a rookie firefighter.
But he's a rookie to the house.
Like, did we make like Violet do this stuff when she joined? No.
She's ambulance though. I didn't think the ambulance really
actually
did that stuff as much.
The ambulance routinely goes through their truck like that. They don't repaint, but they routinely go through their truck like that.
Yeah, but they do it as a team.
They don't
This felt like a
haze them.
It was like a hazing punishment, and he wasn't like a brand new firefighter. We've seen them do this to people who are like the new recruits. We've never seen them with a seasoned firefighter.
But how many
this kind of stuff?
How many new people under Stella has there been?
Well,
this might be her way.
Well, I don't like it if it's her way. I think it's unnecessary. I think once because I don't know. I just think it's unnecessary. Like, it's one thing to do it when you're fresh out of the academy, you're brand new, because it probably is teaching you stuff. If you've been firefighting for a while, I'm not sure that this needs to happen.
I don't know, because a lot of people look down on Stella and think that she got to where she is because of people. I feel like she tries to overcompensate.
Yeah, I don't think this helps her case. Like, being
is it right?
I'm not allowed to say.
She frustrates me a lot of the times because of it. But I think that's where it comes from. I think she's just trying to assert her dominance in the lieutenant role, to where she hasn't. If you're constantly looked at and saying, why did you get this position? Pretty much, who did you do to get this position is what she's getting all the time. And it's not okay. It's not right.
Yeah.
Just because she's a younger female doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve this spot than anybody else. And it's a lot of these firefighters, men who are her age, not really the younger ones, but the ones that are her age or older, they do give her a lot of grief about it. And it sucks. So I think if she lashes out every once in a while, I can't really blame her for it. Don't do it every episode. That would get really old really fast. But
see, here the thing is too, is that where we ended with them last was the conversation in the bar when she said, if you lie to me, there's no place for you on my truck. And then he's like, well, we're just not going to talk about it. When he walked away from her. And I think maybe she was I think from there, she's kind of like, okay, well, he still has a ways to go.
And see, that bugs me too, because that whole conversation, I feel like, was like bullying him into like trying to tell something he didn't want to tell. Like, I didn't care for that either.
I don't like that she was trying to force him to tell him the story, but I agree with her sentiment though. Not as it relates to that story. He shouldn't have to tell you how he got his scars. He shouldn't have to tell you. But I do agree with that. You can't lie about it. Just say, I'm not going to talk to her. Like, I know that
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. That's
But
and
like I
that should be
said-
accepted. But I think that her point was you can't make up story. But I know we talked about this and that he didn't tell her that story. That's what I'm saying. I don't agree with it towards that story in that frame. But in general, you
yeah.
cannot lie to your lieutenant and have a place. She cannot trust you if you're going to lie to her. So I think that's where her head is at is, okay, well, I need him to know that I am his lieutenant and he's got to play by my rules kind of thing. So they weren't necessarily in a great place because that whole episode, he was kind of like, why are you helping me? Why are you helping me? Why are you helping me? And even when Bowden asked him how it is with Stella, Bowden was like, are you really okay with her? Are you sure? And I think maybe even Bowden's picking up on the fact that he's a little animosity towards Stella.
I think he was until that moment at the bar. I think he was okay with her when he was talking about it because he was happy that she had helped him. I know we're going back.
So that happened in the next episode. After that ended, the next episode started with Bowden asking him. So that had already happened. But my idea is that I agree with you. That whole episode, I kind of was softening towards Stella, but before that I was like, dude, chill out. And we talked about this. I think they're writing her as a lieutenant terribly. Terribly.
Yeah.
But in this episode, I think it was really, I don't think it was about showing her dominance and showing like, I am who I am. You will bow to me. I don't think that's what this was. I think this was, listen, I'm your lieutenant. I know you don't like that. I know you don't trust me, but you're going to do what I say. And this is what we're going to do to get us to be cohesive and I think that's what it was. And obviously
it backfired because I
think
it did.
It spectacularly backfired. But my bigger problems with Carver than with her.
Yeah.
I did not like how he spoke to her in any single instance in this episode. I did not like how he spoke to her. I didn't like how he spoke about 51. Like I didn't like any of it.
That. Yeah, no, I agree. And I was equally, my difference is I was equally angry with them this episode. Like, just let's move on from that storyline. Like I'm over that completely.
I want to know where he was.
Yeah. Well, he's probably out getting drunk again. So.
Oh yeah. And I think like even when Stella's like, listen, you're not going to do this and then throw my name in there. That's not happening. You're not going to make these poor decisions and then throw my name out to get you out of trouble. You don't want my help. You don't want me to be here to see this stuff. You don't want me to tell Bowden, then stop involving me in this.
And I think there's more to this. And I wish as her as lieutenant would try to dive into what is going on with you that is causing you to go out and be this destructive.
Yeah.
Rather than just being like, I don't know. I just wish there was a different way to approach it. And I think she would get further with him.
Until he started being until he was like, hey, this is my business, not yours. And I think then she was like, well, fine, then don't involve me in it.
He was drunk though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I agree.
I mean, talk to him another time when he's not drunk and you're not making him clean every crevice of the fire truck. Like, I mean, that would irritate me. I'm not gonna lie. If I've been on the job for however, I know I'm harping on this, but like I feel like I would be irritated by someone above me coming at me like that.
See, I've done that to people before. Not to that extent, but as a manager, and I was getting zero respect. And I actually found out some things about my employees that they were saying behind my back. And it was like, okay, this is not how we're going to work. So we're going to do, if you have that much time to speak ill of me and you have that much time to try to rally, then you're going to keep yourself busy with work. And that's what you're going to do now. And so that was how I handled it. So I think that's why I kind of side with her a little bit more, because that was how we handled it. Is listen, I'm not gonna.
He wasn't speaking ill of her at the time that she assigned that.
No, I think she just kind of assumes it. I think she's feeling the animosity. Is just what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe that's because I saw him be filled with animosity this episode. And I'm like, oh, she picked up on that before.
It was after,
and she probably didn't. But because I was so irritated with him, I'm like, well, that's why.
I think he had the animosity because she was making him do ridiculous tasks. So that's how I'm seeing it. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
All right, we've been on this one subject for too long.
We really have.
I have to get some sleep.
This is what happens when me and Maureen actually disagree about something. We go on and on forever.
I'll come in here and separate you two.
I like talking about it. I'm having fun.
I was having fun too.
Okay.
And I do think that Bowden is probably going to be the one to come in and sort of find the tension there, see the tension, and correct it, probably.
Hopefully. I think so.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, obviously this week he didn't have time to notice or worry about any of that. He had like a really big rescue with that boy on the beach.
I
Oh
cried with
my
that too.
gosh.
That was stressful.
I was very stressed during this entire thing.
Okay, kids, we're never going to the beach.
I mean, first of all, I didn't like
They're
the
not playing in the sand.
No, definitely not going to be playing on any big hills. I was already getting nervous at the very beginning of the episode when he was talking to what's his kid's name? Terrence. Terrence? Yeah.
It's Terrence.
When he was talking to Terrence, I was like, man, I don't like the vibes I'm getting. Like, and I was talking to Jeanette about this earlier today when we were doing the Grace podcast, is I'm getting more and more feelings every week that Bowden's character is maybe going to be taking some steps back.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say die.
No, I don't think
they'll kill
so.
him.
I
No.
think he's more like wanting to step
more time with
back
the
away
sun.
from the danger or retire completely or something like that, because I feel like not spending enough time with his son is really starting to bother him. And really with Hawkins dying and Terrence finding out about it and just worried that, this chief died, that means you can die. And his son's getting older now. He's putting it together and it's just, it's heartbreaking. I mean, like, this poor little boy just wants his dad to come to this one bug program.
I know.
And he's like, I don't think I can make it. Like, no.
Yeah.
That it almost just like broke my heart. I'm like, no, I don't care what you have to do. Like, you're going to be there.
Yeah.
This
I
poor
agree.
kid is so upset that he thinks he's going to lose his dad at the age of, I don't know, what was he, 7, 8? No,
Like 8, something like that.
he's 7 or 8 now.
Yeah.
But that was heartbreaking. This little kid, Nico, I love that name, by the way. This little Nico kid is trapped in the sand, same age as Terrence. Bowden did not skip a beat.
Nope.
His tires could not have gone any faster on that sand. That was a crazy arrival.
Yeah.
Arrival. I loved it. That poor dad.
Oh,
He
I
just
know.
crushed me.
oh.
Oh my gosh.
That guy played his part well.
He did. He really did.
I felt that panic as he was frantically trying to dig his son out. And then when he went back to Bowen's office and he said, I was trying, but I think I just made more sand fall on him. The guilt that he must have been carrying is just, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's why they put those boards up so the sand would stop falling back in on him.
Yeah.
And it made sense. But honestly, if my kid got trapped in there too, guess what I would have been doing?
Yeah,
But you know
that's what I
what?
would have
Also, I would have had a lot more people up there helping me dig.
Everybody dig.
Everybody was just
Everybody
watching. They were standing
I
there.
know.
Like, do you
like,
see
oh,
what
look
this
at this
dad is
man
doing?
dig. I was like, get up there and help.
That's what should have been happening on that beach. Those people should have seen panic all over that guy's face doing what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, help him out.
Yeah.
I didn't understand why that was happening. Why no one was doing. I mean, that woman called 911, but no one was helping that man.
Yeah. I mean, she called 911. She guided him in and let him know like what was happening, which I think was extremely helpful. And you should always have that person. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure all of us at one point or another have been CPR certified and first aid and all that stuff. And that's one of the things first thing you learn is be very clear on the instructions to 911 operator, because that will help. Whether you think it or not, it'll help. So
well, I mean, they didn't know when they got there. They just knew it was a person trapped.
Yeah. Well, the person, whenever they get there to fill them in, not doesn't have to be like 911, but somebody to be on the scene and let the paramedics know exactly what is happening is extremely helpful. So that was some good writing on their part this week.
Yeah.
And I think too with Bowden, like he's one of few chiefs. No, none of the other chiefs that have his position are in the field as much as he is.
No.
So I think that's an opening for him to be able to step back too.
Absolutely.
And this
Remember,
episode clearly proved he needs to.
Well, he also went like higher up and still stayed at 51.
Yeah.
I don't think he doesn't have to be at 51. He's there because that's where he likes to be.
It's also the center because his office is supposed to be in the center of all the districts that he represents, and that's what 51 is. They redid the maps, and 51 is at the center.
Yeah.
So he could even still be in the 51 office, but he doesn't have to be in the field the way he's in the field. Plus, they have that extra office in there, so you can get a house chief in that office, and he could be the position he is, and
Yeah. I think so. They're gonna have.
There's options for him.
I think it's coming. I think
Mhm.
something's coming. Like I told Jeanette earlier, maybe Bowden steps back and Casey can maybe take his
I
place.
would love it. Love it.
That would be nice. And Bowden would trust Casey. So
Yeah. I think Casey would make a great.
Or you know who else I wouldn't mind? Let's bring Pelham back from that house that they kicked him out as soon as I loved him.
Oh,
But
yeah.
when Casey won't come
I
back,
did like him a lot.
let's bring Pelham back over.
I'm down for that. I liked
And
him.
I would like to see more moments like he had with Terrence and that Nico. I would like to see more moments like that. I did kind of think the moment that because they started with the beginning with Terrence, and then we saw Nico. Oh, they're gonna get together at the end. Something's gonna happen there. They're gonna do something. So I was like,
play date.
I called one single thing. I got it.
It was a good little play date at
It
the end. That
was.
was really cute.
And we could see more Bowden doing things like that and spending time with Donna and Terrence. Because I'm sure that Donna misses her husband. And I'm sure that, do you remember that episode when her school caught on fire and he was going through there? Donna knew exactly how bad that fire was, and Bowden had to go right into it. So, I mean, I'm sure she's terrified for her husband all the time, too.
No. Could you imagine?
No.
But we needed some kind of comedic relief in this episode. And I am all here for whenever it is Herman and Mouch. And they delivered this week.
I have to tell you, when Herman was like freaking out, and Violet's like, wait, I think something's wrong. If you do anything to Herman after Hawkins, I will kill you. I was so upset. But then I was like, oh, okay, it's just anxiety. We're cool. It's all right. The thought that they were gonna take Herman or even put him back in the hospital, I was getting real upset.
No, can't do that.
The stupid Stein. I like that Mouch was like, what do we do with this? Why did they think he died?
Because they said, I don't know. I just feel like this guy, like, if you're gonna have something delivered to the bar,
would you say something?
Like, let them know, like, hey, I got a package coming.
Yes.
But of course, they just jump to like thinking he's dead, and this is what they got left in their will. And I mean,
only those two would make that assumption. I mean, I guess it's not a Farley because they had that Stein in the bar to begin with that they broke. But I mean, Stephanopoulos or Stephanides, whatever his name is, I don't remember. He deserved it. All right, he deserved what he got.
I agree. I don't know what they're gonna do though. They kind of left us hanging.
Yeah, there was the one scene, and I mean, it made me. I was like stressed out myself. It was when Mouch is trying to wrap it,
That's the scene
and he's on the phone.
Oh
and I
my
mean, the whole time, I think I even did like that.
Several
He knocked it off the table, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
I was like, "Oh my god!" Set it in the box while he's walking around like that. Come on, stop setting it at the end of it. I was talking just as bad.
I was like, "No." I'm like, Herman, watch out. Oh my God, you're going to hit that. Quit, sit still. Like, I mean, I was talking to him trying to watch this because I'm thinking, that's $dollars. Like, you need to stop. And poor Mouch, I mean, what a save. On it.
And then, like, I was like, Mouch, why do you keep putting it on the edge of the table? Put it more
That's what I was doing.
At least if it's in the middle, if he knocks it over, it's going to land on the table.
Exactly.
I was so stressed out.
I was really stressed.
When he caught it, I was like, oh, okay, all the problems with this mug are all done.
Wrong.
So we thought.
I love when Herman's like, are we maybe being a little too disingenuous or something? And Mouch is like, I think you're a little late for that, seeing as you already spent all the money from it.
I know, that was hilarious.
Herman and money, man. I love it.
I mean, he even sold drinks.
$1,000 though.
I mean, Herman was even drinks on the house at this memorial service for Stephanopoulos, who's not dead.
We never thought this was going to happen.
He's
I
never
love
said those
that
words.
he came in as they were doing the toast to him. But
his picture on the bar.
Yes.
I just want to know what was going through his head.
Well, Stephanopoulos, he even said too, he's like, I had it sent to you for tax purposes. Like, so
Okay.
you're telling these firemen who work for the city that you are avoiding, you're basically doing tax evasion.
Mm.
Like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody looks the other way on tax evasion. Come on.
I don't think that's the takeaway we should take from this. But I am really interested to see where this goes, because he said, hey, he doesn't have an idea, he made that, but he's eventually gonna have to explain where this mug is and what happened. It's not like he can return what he had put in the bar.
Nope.
The best that can happen is, listen, man, we thought you died. You told us you were dying, and then we had a mug sent to us without explanation. We just assumed this is your fault.
Sorry.
And then I like at the bar watching Herman interact with, like, even Tracy with his niece and with Gallo, like even seeing that other level. So on top of all the stress of Stephanie, we've got Herman trying to like ward people off his niece.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was
Well,
hilarious. Because
was it
Ritter's
Cap?
like, it's fine.
Yeah, because Ritter's like, oh, I don't think he'll mind at all. And then Cap didn't even do anything other than maybe he smiled at her. Like that was it. Like it wasn't.
But here's the thing. Do you remember, we've talked about this several times, with his girlfriend, Cap's girlfriend, and she was beautiful and glorious, and people are like, you could bag her? She's real? You can actually get a girl like that? So I don't think it was that far off in Herman's mind, that seeing the look on Cap's face. And I think he warned Cap off because it's Cap.
It's Cap.
That could be it, but it's also Ritter. I mean, not Ritter.
Gallo.
Gallo.
I think he'll be the same with Gallo. But I think you could win Herman over. Like
Gallo can, I think.
Yeah, you just have to give it a minute, I guess. But initially, he's going to be like, no, and he's going to probably threaten him. Like, I mean, that's just the way it's going to work.
Absolutely.
I want like this to happen. But so next week's another big call, and I'm just going to hope it goes better than the last one we had, because I can't handle another one of those.
No, we don't need another one of those.
Was it a funeral home or was it a haunted house?
No, this is a funeral home.
I thought it was a funeral
absolutely
home.
thought it was a haunted house. I don't know why
it's
I
a
thought
funeral
that.
home. And the only reason I know it's a funeral home too is because if you remember, I remember them shooting at the funeral home, because this is where like shots were actually fired, and like there was like this big thing like on the set of Chicago Fire, like the week before we went.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think it was a week or two before you guys went.
Yeah, I think it was the week before or so. So
yeah, I mean,
I was wondering why it said bodies everywhere, only one alive. I was like, wait, what? Everybody working the haunted house died?
potato.
Makes way more sense.
No, it's a funeral. And I think that's what's so, because there's bodies everywhere. It's like they're so, I mean, maybe it like kind of looks like, I don't know,
cool,
something crazy. But yeah, so I guess they're having trouble finding their victim. It's,
that would be horrible. Can you imagine?
I mean, because look, you check on them. I mean, half of them are dead, but it would be insane. So,
I mean, there's so much potential to miss the actual victim and to harm yourself for staying in there so long to search. Like, call out.
Unless they can't.
Hello. Maybe they're dead.
So that'll be interesting. I think I'm excited that it's going to make way more sense now.
Should just let her keep thinking it was a haunted house.
Like, wait, what?
Are those real bodies in that haunted house?
It made me think. I'm like, am I wrong? It is a funeral home, right?
It's a Marine's an idiot sometimes. It happens. You know what? I can claim cancer brain for at least another 5 years. So
yeah,
back off me.
4.5. Come on, don't milk it.
So that's about it for Fire, and I think that we've got a really good PD episode that I really, really enjoyed this episode.
Me too.
Really enjoyed it. I think that we've seen a lot of our characters come back to the way that we love them and the things that we loved about them, and I really dug Torres's episode. I really dug Torres. So we see him kind of working intelligence for a little while. We saw him under Jay. We see him now working on his own, branching on his own. But this was the episode where he made his big decision, I think.
I loved it. I've liked him for a while. But after seeing him this week, he's climbing the list pretty quickly for me.
Mhm.
I hope he stays on the straight and narrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
I feel like he
will.
does have
I
a lot of
think he will.
influence in his
Mhm.
life that, I mean, we say that all the time that we don't think they're going to flip, but
I know.
I feel like we're proven wrong sometimes. So,
Well, I think we're due for like having another person that is
a long term.
Good.
well, and that is good. And I mean, not to
Yeah.
say that like others aren't. I mean, because I think
But
I mean,
others will
obviously
sacrifice for the greater good in
they
ways that they
will,
probably shouldn't.
or they'll at least look the other way and like, I mean, let someone else, do stuff, So it'd
Yeah.
be nice to have another J-ish character
Mhm.
that won't, shy away from that until you
Yeah.
get ready to destroy him and like he leave, and then he does. But until then. But no, like opening up, like I loved, like we saw Kim and Kevin, they're both kind of training him on like legit stuff that he needs to know. And then there's Adam just telling
I
him like
knew
to make like a, if you drink the last coffee, make sure to, like do it
that
and
is
never
not
eat a
exactly how he
sandwich.
said it.
Well, I know. I figured you didn't want me to say it like he
I
said
don't.
it.
But I like that Torch is like, is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all Adam cares about. Coffee and my food.
I mean, that's such an Adam, like, teaching him like that kind of stuff. I don't know. I loved it. It was
I think
very
he also knew that
Adam-esque.
everyone else was going to be teaching him logistics. So he's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm
And he
not
was
going to teach you how to keep
also,
me happy.
and what Adam was also happy that like he's no longer like the rookie in the team, because he was
Yeah.
always, he has been for 10 years. And so now
No, Kevin and Kim are under him.
they
Oh no,
had
because
been,
he was never beat cop. Kevin and Kim came out
exactly.
and did their
He
beat
was
cop.
he had been the rookie like forever.
Yeah.
So
That's true. I didn't
he's
even
finally
really,
got somebody else.
I didn't even realize that until you just
Mhm.
said it.
Kim and him are actually at the same level because they came out of the police. He was pulled from police academy before he was done, but they started police work at the same time.
Okay.
She just finished her police academy. He never finished.
Yeah. But obviously she had started sooner, she would have been able to finish. Because he was still in the academy when
Yeah, that's what but I mean, they started policing at the same time because he was
Yes.
pulled out early. By
Yeah.
Al.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, we saw like Kevin kind of getting to be a mentor too, like explaining like how difficult it is to like have to work within your own neighborhood and
Mhm.
have those people see you as a cop, even
Yeah.
because even when they know you're a cop, it's different than seeing you be a cop in their neighborhood. And so that
Yeah.
he's explaining how hard that is.
I really liked Kevin this episode a lot. Like I miss this side of
A
Kevin.
lot. Yes, me too. Me too.
I've been
Yeah.
waiting for this side of Kevin to come back because this is the Kevin that I love, who's passionate
Mhm.
about what he does, but also knows the risks and he's gonna do the right thing.
Agreed.
Team player.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't know, he kept getting that phone call from Provi, and I didn't know. I was like, who is this? Like, what is that?
I
gonna
thought it was the
Yeah.
bad guy at first.
I did too. And I was like, oh no, what's this? But turns out, I mean, it's just his neighbor. And then he goes to check on her. I mean, that poor woman, like
When he made that 911 call, oh my gosh.
when he looked down at her phone and saw how many like calls
Oof.
she had tried to make to him, I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. Like you would just feel awful.
You could hear the absolute terror and grief in his voice so clearly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was horrible. That was horrible.
Great acting though.
Mm-hmm.
Bravo.
Absolutely.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
He
for
pulled
sure.
me into that scene. I felt like I
Mhm.
was there.
Mhm. No, definitely. And I mean, then you see, I mean, like we saw, like Kevin's right. Like, I mean, all of the trouble that starts happening, like with him trying to work this case for someone he knows, like right in his own neighborhood. I mean, it was
Mhm.
tough.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
They immediately find all these Glock switches,
I don't
which
even know what those
I
are.
had
I have
no
what those
idea
are.
what this was.
I still really don't know. I just know it's something for the guns that they need. Like that
Same.
I
turns
wonder
on
what they
into, like,
do.
I think I heard that it can turn them like maybe into like an automatic weapon.
That's kind of what I took
Oh.
from it too.
Well,
So I
that's
think you and I are on
terrifying.
the same page.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's very dangerous and you don't want them around.
right.
But apparently Provi was like quote unquote clean.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't, I mean, she was older, right?
I thought he was like his mom's age kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
That was what I got from it.
Mhm.
She
'Cause
just
didn't they say that
didn't
she
see-
retired from teaching or something?
I think so.
Yeah. So she
Yeah.
was obviously elderly, not elderly, but older.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, who does that?
I know.
Who does that? This was a really horrible case. I didn't really like this at all.
And I think with this case, like the only thing, the struggle there was Torres had to prove that one, he had to prove his mettle, that he could work his block and still be a cop, and
Mhm.
but he had to prove to his people that he could still protect them, but also prove to intelligence that he could still do the job. He also
Yeah.
had to prove that his gut instinct was correct, because that's what much of intelligence is working with your gut.
Mhm.
And so he had Proby there. The only thing he had to prove was a security camera down the streets that saw a car racing past it. That's all they had. That's all they had to go on, but he had to insist. And then even in that interrogation with, I want to call the guy Proby. That's not his name. Dante.
It was
No,
yeah.
Dante
it was
Torres.
Diaz.
The
Dante's Torres. It was Diaz, I think.
Yeah. So with Diaz, when he pulls him in there, Torres also has to prove that he can do that part too. He had to speak up for
Yeah.
them. He had to do that stuff. And I love that scene because Voight is in there with him, obviously.
Mhm.
Torres is doing just fine. And I was almost irritated. No, I wasn't almost. I was a little irritated at Voight for stepping in there and talking like, dude, no.
Yeah.
Torres has it. Because when Voight took over, he shut down.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
Torres was at him, he talked. I mean, of course, he called for a lawyer, but when the other dude, Gigo, he
Mhm.
was in there, that's what happened too.
yeah.
Torres got through to him because Torres was talking to him,
Mm-hmm.
not because
He
of
knew
idle
how to talk to him.
threats.
They
Yeah.
trust. He knew. They don't know. I don't think he like knew him well, but I mean, I know
He
he's
was
like
sister.
he
Yeah.
knew his sister, but he at least knew he was from his same
neighborhood.
area, and but he's a cop also, and a lot of people don't trust cops, so I didn't blame the guy either for not wanting to cooperate.
Which made it terrifying when Diaz kept calling him 21st and Loomis. Like, hey, dude, we know you know where he lives. Stop it.
Mhm.
I
don't
know. I
like
did
it.
not like
Stop it.
that.
I loved though the way Torres like came back at him. I mean, he kept
Mhm.
his cool during all of that. I mean, the guy
Yep.
was even threatening his mama, and he like kept his like cool, and but still like I mean, he got him to bring him in, and the look on Kevin's face was like proud. Like,
Yeah.
I love
I
too
was
when they're
proud.
like when Chico's like, what? And Kevin's like, don't act surprised. He shoved a police officer. What are you doing?
yeah, and he did. So there you
Kevin
go.
had his back the whole time. And even when Torres came at Kevin and said, don't cover for me,
Mhm.
Kevin was like, hey, did I lie? Did I do anything wrong? This is how a team. So like Kevin, this episode was just like,
So good.
yes, welcome back, my favorite person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not your favorite person.
No, not my favorite. One of my favorites though,
Okay.
which I could say about everybody on the
Don't
intelligence
scare
team.
me about like that.
Adam still takes the top spot. But I felt so bad because Torres had to choose between Mia and his mom.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought his mom was getting attacked.
Yes.
And all I could think of was Kevin's brother.
Mhm.
And I thought that was the connection. I thought they were going to have it do the same thing, and that's how they were going to bond.
I was a little upset with Mama Torres because I'm like,
Yes.
girl, don't be calling him like that back to back. Like when there's like all this stuff going on in the neighborhood, just because your fire alarm's going off, stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Alarm, it's eventually going to shut up.
Yeah, just hop up on a chair and push that button. That's what I need to do. Just make it
That really annoyed me.
open a
Mhm.
window. You know what I'm saying?
And poor
Like, you
Mia.
know he's working. What are
Yes.
you doing?
I was a little surprised because I thought he was genuinely like dating, like taking her on a date because he looked, but then they saw that he was recording it. Like,
Well,
oh,
I think,
snap.
and it's because he genuinely does like her. And I
I
mean,
know.
that's what really, because they had amazing chemistry too. I
Yes.
liked Mia and I was like, dang, this is kind of fun.
Although part of me was like, really? Torres, one day on the job, you got a girl. Kevin's been there for how long? And you still don't have a relationship for
I
him?
mean, Dante's pretty good looking though. I'm just gonna say.
I know.
Mhm.
I mean, so is Kevin. So is Kevin.
Exactly.
So
like,
is
how does
Kevin,
Kevin not have somebody by now? But Torres on the
Dante-
first day is going to get somebody?
Speaking Spanish and stuff, like I don't know, something about it.
I mean,
Just
Kevin's
saying.
beautiful.
I
though.
told you last week I'm gonna be a Torres girl. I'm
But-
here for it. I'm happy.
But I was surprised that he was filming because I did not. It was an unexpected turn for me. I thought he was going to get information from her just by being friend to her.
Yeah.
So I was completely like in a good way shocked by that.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with the way he took. Like I know he was running off check on his mama, and I get it. But like all you had to do was tell Kevin and Adam that they would have been cool.
Yeah.
They would have been right with you, like going to check on your mama.
Exactly.
Like, which I guess maybe he just doesn't understand that yet and
I think
doesn't
that's what it
understand the
was.
family that they are.
Yeah, that I mean, or he could have said, you know, keep eyes on Mia.
Which
I need to go check this out. Like, so he needed to communicate something of what he was doing and where he was going.
But I think he was just in such a blind panic, which was a rookie mistake.
Yes.
Yeah. And which, I mean, he fessed up to it. He took ownership of his mess up. He apologized. I really am loving Torres. And I hope, like, keep it up.
But then he had to carry that guilt too of knowing he saw the guy who beat Mia and he still left.
Yeah.
But honestly, that guy was probably beating her up before he left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I mean doesn't make it better.
That was I felt really terrible for her too, you know.
I did too.
The one other thing I wanted to say was when he got in that car, did anyone else be like, what are you driving?
I did.
I know.
You know, he's a new, but you know what? He's a new cop. And the thing is, in his neighborhood, he may not be able to drive anything.
But his dashboard is carpeted.
Well,
hey, get some from point A to point B
from the 70s.
Let him get his first paycheck and we'll see. You know?
I mean, the car itself is not bad. It's that, is it fully carpeted inside?
Well, it might be.
Just some shag. Leave it alone.
That's weird. It was not only was it carpeted, but it was like that psychedelic swirly carpet. Like, what?
I thought the same thing too, though. I was like, "Oh, that's your car? Okay, okay."
We're gonna forget about that part and just move on.
I mean, eventually, you know, he did get Mia to tell him where her brother was because he was the one who stole the switches. They figured that out, and I think that was largely due to Torres and how he handled the case and how he did that sort of thing. Yeah. He did want to protect them. That's what he does. And I like that they brought that up when Kevin said, you get called neighborhood a lot. I help when I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that he was honest too about it. I can't say enough good things about Torres so far.
No, I love it. I love it.
I was kind of wary at first because he was just so quiet and, you know, kind of standoffish. And I was like, is he going to like vibe well with the others?
Well, that's why when we saw him like flirting with Mia, I was like, oh,
who is
like,
this?
I was like, hey,
I
Torres
like this
came to
one.
play.
Yes.
I was like, yes, I like this. I like that we like to see him like talk and interact with people and not just stand in a corner and stare at people.
Yeah. And him and Kevin are partners, you know, like
I
y'all
love
can
that.
go hit up the bars, find you some ladies, you know, because you can't miss. I mean, Adam, he's wifed up. So like there's no like, you can't do anything with him anymore. But
what I like is that contrast between he's not comfortable in intelligence yet. That's not what he's familiar with. We see him in the place he's familiar with. He comes alive.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to when he does that with intelligence, because that's the moment that us as fans are gonna be like, oh, it's family now. They're all family.
Yep.
Because we're gonna need like that kind of like, that is one thing we're gonna miss with Jay, I think, is Jay, which I mean, granted we hadn't seen it that much, but in early seasons he would have those little one-liners that would just be hilarious and sarcastic, and so that's something that I think we've been missing. So we're gonna need some more like, I mean, Adam brings them too, but like Jay had this delivery to him about the way he did them. So
and I think coming from Torres, it'll be great because he's so quiet.
Yes. And I think that was with Jay too, because Jay was kind of always in the background, and like that's what made it work so well. Where Adam's always out in the forefront with stuff. So I mean, it didn't hit the same, I guess.
Yeah. And I think that one thing that I mean, I liked everything about Torres this episode. My favorite version of Torres was when he kicked the crap out of Diaz.
Yes.
I was like,
how hot was that?
I was almost standing up cheering. Like he headbutted him first. I'm like, oh dang, that's
Amanda
awesome.
gets it. And Maureen's thinking it's cool. Me and Amanda are both like, dang, that's
like,
hot. When he started taking his
awesome.
Like,
I was like, wow.
he takes that gun off and that badge, and I'm like, ooh.
As soon as he took that badge off, I was like, ooh.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like it is going.
And
down.
I love that he started with a headbutt. That was fantastic.
God.
My
Why is that
my first
attractive?
instinct was, ow, why?
Mhm.
And then when he was done, he just stared at all of Diaz's guys and they didn't do a thing. Like
Nope.
they just saw their leader get killed.
Well, they don't want any part of that.
No,
No.
he's because Torres showed how unhinged he can get.
Mhm.
And I did with Mia when she was like, "You said you protect him. He got 20 years." That is him protecting him.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you want him returned home where he's going to be killed instantly?
Yeah, he saved his life.
Yes, protecting doesn't always mean home with you in your arms where he's going to get, first of all, when he comes home, more trouble, more death threats, really kill. I mean, his apartment building was shut up.
Yeah.
They know he did it. They know what he did. They're going to take retribution.
Yeah.
Going to prison is what saved him.
Mhm.
And I
also,
go ahead.
but with these gangs, I mean, he can't really be that protected in prison either. So
But maybe Torres can protect him a little better in prison.
I think he
Never know.
control it better in
Yeah.
prison. Hopefully, I mean,
it is what it is. This guy, I mean, you did get Provi killed. I mean,
Yeah.
like this was
Mhm.
your fault. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Should there be no consequences for him at all? He
Yeah.
made bad decisions.
which I mean, I get it. That's
sorry,
What just happened there?
my ears are hurting. I hit my microphone.
I mean, I get it because, like, that's her brother, and so maybe we will see Mia again, and we'll see that maybe she'll be cool after that initial like just hurt of like knowing that
I
her
hope
brother
so.
had to go away to prison. I
Mhm.
hope so because I
liked
liked
her.
her. I did too.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see more of her. Maybe.
So maybe Torres and Kevin can bond over Celeste and the issues with Kevin and Mia and the issues with Torres. And then they can
Yes.
work together to find a way to be with their significant others that are messed up situations.
Here
Yeah.
for it.
Although I am a little concerned with what comes next after he beat up Torres or Diaz. I'm a little concerned for what that means for Mama Torres.
Well, I don't know that it will mean anything. I mean, I kind of took it as, I mean, he handled business like they
did.
do in,
Yeah,
But do you
I
think
don't
he's
know.
that
I
gang
don't
leader's
live-
going to let it go?
I think he has to.
yeah.
I hope he
That's
will.
how I mean, that honestly how I took it. I
mean,
feel like he
one-
settled it.
Because that's, I mean, two, you're just gonna get you're either gonna get your ass kicked again, or he's gonna make sure you get arrested. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna mess with Torres at all.
That's true.
Yeah.
The other thing that I already like Torres, right? This whole episode was like, yeah, Torres.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when, and it's not for the same reason that it might be your favorite part, but when he had his shirt off.
I was gonna say I like that part too.
But it was the cross on his back, and it was the Bible verse
Oh.
that said, "Here I am, send me." I'm like, yes,
Oh.
I am here for that.
I didn't.
I
see
love
the-
that.
I didn't see the verse.
Oh, I
so,
did.
Sorry,
I was real
missed that
excited.
part.
And he kept like he's Catholic, so he kept like touching the
Mhm.
I don't remember, I don't know what saint it is,
Saint.
but one of the saints in
Mhm.
his locker, and then he had the "Here I am, send me," and that just the whole episode made sense when you saw
Yeah.
that, because he's done
Yeah.
nothing, and that's why I don't think he's going to break. His whole life has been protecting the people he
Mhm.
says, I want to be used. Use me for the greater good. That's
Yeah.
who he is. It's ingrained in who he is. So I am that was just the icing on the cake for me.
It was me too.
Yeah. I loved it.
Different reasons,
I'm
but yes. Yes. Oh, I also love that Mia mocked his white shirt, because there were people on Twitter who were teasing them a couple weeks ago saying, for the
Oh.
love of God, someone get Torres something other than a white t-shirt. And then Mia
Yeah.
mocked him in this episode about it. Like,
I thought he looked good in his white t-shirt. Leave him alone.
I think he looks good.
I hope that fan is like, see.
That's funny.
But next week is going to be, and I'm excited for next week, because we're going to see Torres not just working on his own, but get folded into a case.
Mhm.
That'll be
Mhm.
great.
The only thing I'm not super excited about is that next
Mhm.
week involves
know.
a young girl. I mean,
I don't like those,
I hate that. I hate
especially
it.
because we're girl moms. So it's just like,
Yes.
ugh.
It stresses me out so much. And then
Yeah.
of course, I mean, Haley, it looks like, I mean, I don't know what's happened to her, but she gets like knocked on the head, like, and assaulted.
What she said,
there,
the
so-
girl said, "Run."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was creepy. I guess
But I'm
next,
excited.
next week is Halloween week, isn't it?
No, we got one more week.
I don't know.
Oh, it's the week after next.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, because the
I
next
was like, are we doing like a Halloween, like, because it seemed very like
spooky.
spooky, creepy.
But
I thought it was a haunted house in fire.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because there'll be one on the 26th too. So I don't know. We'll see. I would love to see a little Halloween special. That'd be fun. Oh my gosh, can we see like Adam and Kim take Michaela like trick or treating or something?
Who?
But
'Cause
then
I haven't seen this child this entire season.
Well,
She
I
will be there.
know. She'll be there.
Where's
okay?
Michaela?
different labor laws.
I know. Remember,
But
we
what
don't
would be
see
great is if
Gigi's
they get
often.
called in the middle of that and they're all dressed up and have to solve a case while they're dressed up. That would be
Yes,
fantastic.
man.
Spend the entire
Michaela,
episode in costume.
Michaela would have them dress up in like a family costume.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
sure.
Be
I
fantastic.
would love to see that.
I am here for that.
Mhm. Definitely.
But next week is gonna be very emotional, I think. Because
Mhm.
anything, it doesn't matter boy or girl, anything involving a kid, but sex trafficking is something that's my husband and I we've supported a ministry in sex trafficking specifically for children for over a decade. So it's everyone should be upset by this nonsense.
Absolutely.
Everyone should be.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm going to be way more emotionally invested in this one than I had been in some of the episodes because these hit me different. So it'll be a hard week next week, but worth the watch. Remember, Wednesdays, Chicago shows come out. Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. In that order, starts at 8/7 Central with Med, then 9/8 Central for Fire, and then 10/9 Central for PD. So this is our Tuesday night NBC night. That'll come out every week. Stay tuned for tomorrow on Wednesday night when you will get our ABC night, which is Grey's Anatomy, Station 19. Sundays, we got another Fox episode coming at you with the Resident 911. Stay tuned for that. Check out our Facebook group for Chicago. It's one Chicago Family Fan Club. Check that out. Check out our socials, and we would love to hear from you. So let us know what you got going on. Let us know what you think about our episodes. It'll just be great. We want to hear what you like, what you don't like. We want to hear what your thoughts are. What were your favorite parts of the episodes? So let us know. Don't forget that if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that as soon as you can. Go ahead and do that right now, in fact. And you can subscribe to us on Podbean. Don't forget to rate us on all the Podbean, our podcast platforms. Rate us on there. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Loving our content? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to share our podcast with your family and friends. We want to continue the conversation with you. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok under Fandom Family Chats, or one of our ever-growing Facebook groups by searching Family Fan Club. We've also launched a website, Family Fan Club 2021 at Wixsite.com. You can email us there and keep checking it for announcements and merch coming soon. And of course, be sure to tune in every week for new episodes discussing all your favorite shows.